Greetings. Let me answer a few questions for you. What inspired you to learn to code at Rutgers Coding Bootcamp? Well, what inspired me for Rutgers Coding Bootcamp was the fact that this bootcamp was in New Jersey. I wanted to go. I didn't want to have to travel to Manhattan to go to boot camp because I live in New Jersey. It was also connected with a reputable university that the Rutgers name is attached to it, and which is a highly respected university, not just in New Jersey, but around the world. It's considered one of the highest academic institutions. You can actually check into that. Also, I had friends who were developers and who had gone to boot camps and who looked at the curriculum. I said, "Hey, can you check this out and tell me what you think about it?" And all of them said that this was top notch. If you learn all the things that they say you're going to learn, you're going to be in a good place. So that's why Rutgers. What is your plan post graduation? My plan post graduation is to get a job as a full stack web developer. I've really enjoyed learning React. I feel like the curriculum did a really good job of building up to React. React made a lot of sense based on how everything developed towards that. I would love to be a React developer. I would love to be a front end developer, a back end developer, any of those things, just to get full time work and learn from others who are more experienced in the field. But I think long term, it'd be great, even if I ever were able to come up with that great idea, or were part of a small group of people who had that next great idea to have my own company and to be able to write my own check at the end of the day. What do you find most challenging about the program, and what are some key takeaways? Some of the things I found most challenging were just balancing life and work and family and coding. It was very easy for me to put off a lot of things just to code more. I've really enjoyed coding, and when you push things off, they pile up. People, especially when you have people in your life that you care for, you can't push them off. You need to invest in them, and they start feeling it the more you're into it. But I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges. I think one of the biggest benefits of Rutgers was that it wasn't the 9 week, 90-hour a week deal where you don't remember half of it, but it was spread out over 6 months, so it aided some of that. But it still was an issue. Some of the key takeaways, I think just um, I don't know. I think just getting a love for coding and a love for logic, getting pushed by my instructors and TAs to work hard and to be a hard worker. I think that was some of the things I took away. I think, um, I also took away the fact that I'm just one person in this whole vast coding community. The coding community is huge, and the coding community, which is awesome, is very close and tight knit. People are always willing to help, and so the key, though, for you and the key for me and all of us really is not just be a recipient of that help, but be someone who's willing to give as well. So always take advantage of the coding community and the support it provides, but don't go so far without being a supporter yourself, because there's always somebody, even when you go through your boot camp, there'll always be somebody that you can be an assistant to. You can always, it doesn't matter. You might think it's the smartest person in the class. You can still assist them. There's something they don't know that you know. I'm certain of it. Finally, no, that's not finally. How did attending RCB impact your life? Okay, for me, this impacted my life because I was able to, um, in a sense, give up on a dream that was dying. All of us have dreams and things we want for our life, and they don't always pan out. Sometimes markets change, fields change, your life changes. And so that was the case for me. I was in academics, and for me to be able to get out of the adjunct, um, you know, canyon, whatever you want to call it, vast deep pit of adjuncts that is no bottomless pit, right? You just keep falling. Yeah, there was no way out for me. So I had to give up those dreams, and what Rutgers Coding Bootcamp has given to me is restored hope, and not just for my own future, but for my family's future, for our financial security, for the fact that my kids one day are going to go to college, and things like that. I think, like, in many ways, it's been coming home for me. I took coding in high school years ago, and but to pursue this academic dream. I'm glad now to have come back to this and feel like this is something I wished maybe 10 years ago I had remembered and gotten a hold of then. But I'm very thankful for it now. What is one piece of advice you would give to someone who's considering attending Rutgers Coding Bootcamp? I'm gonna try to make this one piece of advice. It's gonna be a really long piece of advice for you who is considering this boot camp. First of all, if you're considering this and you're looking at the boot camps, like, go with this one. Go with it. I think you should. I mean, I don't know what other ones you're looking at. I'm sure they're good. I'm sure they're great, but Rutgers is really good. I think the curriculum is great. The instruction is great. Again, you're attached to a reputable university and a large community, a large nationwide community of boot camps, actually. But I also want to give you this in doing that. Don't just rely on Rutgers Coding Bootcamp. No single boot camp, even if this boot camp, they say, what does it take? 10,000 hours to master a subject. So that's 5 years of full-time work to master a subject. You're not going to be able to master coding in 24 weeks. It's just not going to happen. And the less work you put in these 24 weeks, the less you're going to master it. And so I think you need to put in the hard work. You're going to have to hone this as a skill. You're going to have to eat, sleep, and drink coding. You're going to have to take tutorials on the side. You're going to have to make sure you do every bit of the pre-class work. And when you're doing it, man, push yourself. Like I did Khan Academy, which is like for kids. I did their little coding challenges, but I had to make these games, which forced me to learn object-oriented programming, something we didn't even cover in a program for like 16 weeks. But I learned it beforehand because I pushed myself. And the same thing, you're going to have to push yourself. There's going to be things when you get done, you're going to have to continue pushing yourself. Like you're going to be taking technical interviews and be like, man, how come I didn't know this stuff? Well, you're going to have to push yourself to know it. You have to continue to do it. If you don't work hard for it, it's not going to happen. You don't want to waste time and money by not working hard on this. If you're really spending the amount of money you're spending on this, or going into debt even to do this, you've got to realize at the end of it, you've got to make a profit off of it. You've got to get a return, and you're only going to get a return if you work hard and learn more and show yourself as a learner, because that's what those people out there offering jobs are looking for. They're looking for people who learn and who love to learn and who work hard at learning and who, like, you know what, yeah, maybe you learn some React, which is really cool and awesome now when you come out of boot camp, and you're going to love React, by the way, but what is it going to be 5 years from now? And that's what those employers are thinking of. Okay, show me that you can do this right now, but show me that I can trust that 5 years from now, if you're still at this company, you can do what we need to do then, or whatever company it is at that point. So work hard, hone it like a skill, like a craft. This is your art. If you're like a carpenter who builds a table, right? And you get that satisfaction. Oh, yeah, I put in that blood, sweat, and tears, and here's this beautiful handcrafted table, and it's stained, and I eat my dinner on it, and I have my guests, and they all feast around it. But like, this what you're doing here in web development, that's like your table, man. This is like, people are gonna see your code, they're gonna see your product, and I think, man, this is beautiful, this is useful, this is helpful, right? Man, hone your skill, man. Become a coding artist, and don't be discouraged by any challenges you may face. And so while you're doing this program and do those tutorials, find things like Free Code Camp and do their front end stuff. Learn JavaScript backwards and forwards and all the different array functions and algorithms and all that stuff. Look at Khan Academy, I mentioned already. Look at things like Udemy and all the courses you can download and go through and learn new stuff. And do that stuff, but don't just rely only on the boot camp. Continue to push yourself to learn more. Anyway, that's my long spiel for my one piece of advice. Maybe there was 35 pieces of advice in there, but I hope that's helpful to you.